don't know how to describe it. It's like furry metal. The line, it will be, see you later. Oh, really see you later.
Hello YouTubies! Back today working on the Temu Max Power budget showcar build. I need a much better title for this. Working on underbody lights today because it wouldn't be a max power showcar without underbody lights. We're talking early 2000s. We're going to show you how to put them on properly. And I'm Grant. This is the garage. This is Granty's garage. Join us for the ride.
For those new to the channel and a reminder to those returning viewers, we're trying to turn this bog standard Ford Focus into something that at least vaguely resembles a max power Sexspec showcar sort of car that would have been popular in the early 2000s, and we're trying to do it for as cheap as possible to make it look something like this. This is the AI drawing concept, if you like, that's loosely going to be followed, but is hopefully something like what the car will end up looking like at the end. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see what we get up to in further videos. So for now, this is what we will be using. The reason they're on at the moment, I've rigged them up to this here, because it's the same connector box. I'm actually going to steal that box, so I won't need a Bluetooth app to control these ones. We just use a remote, and these were off of another car. I had them on there for a while. They were an experiment. They worked fine, but until I realised I don't want to be connecting on Bluetooth to control it, because I want my Bluetooth on my phone to be going to the head unit. I've got these, so these are going to cost me nothing. I've had them in the wires box. Wires. For years. You will notice this strip here is missing some guys, and the blue is not working on those two, I think they're diodes. Can I get another set pretty cheap? Yes. Were these pretty cheap? Yes. But we are working with what we've got in this project. So these will certainly do for now. What I may do in the future, probably next time I'm browsing Temu for more parts for this thing, is get another kit, just because I'm not convinced these are going to be the brightest. They look mega bright on the camera, but we'll put them on the car and we'll see how well they project onto the ground. So first things first, when doing this, planning. The most difficult thing to encounter when doing this, no matter which way you want to do it, is how are you going to get what will be one of the back ones routed to the back of the car when the battery's up the front. So you've got to make account for the wire, the run, not impacting anything else, not touching the exhaust and things like that. So I'm going to have a good route under the car for what will be the best option for the back. The sides we're already okay with. You would have seen if you watched the side skirts video, we built in I was going to say like a channel, like it was going to be really official. We've got cable ties already hanging down there waiting to hold those. And allegedly these should just stay on with like 3M tape, which on the front I may have to trust it with, because I already know what that looks like from making the bumper. We'll see if we can find anything that we can put like a hard attachment to, something mechanical like a cable tie. Excuse me. I'm going to have a good route around under the car. Under the rear of the car, I've worked out where the best place for it to go is. I don't want to attach it to the bumper. There isn't enough to do. I'd have to put like an extra piece on, and then anytime the bumper needs to come off, I will need to unattach it, which I know I'm going to need to do with the side skirts and possibly the front bumper, but the more I can avoid, the better. And I think for the overall kind of lowness, you might have not even see this one that much. This video will be a bit different to the other ones working on the Temu Max Power car, because this one I do want to sort of make into a bit of a how-to as well, like so other people would be able to do this. This is a bit more applicable. I'm not making a custom bumper that I like or anything here, and I'm thinking about putting it on here. My logic being, this is a project car anyway. Just drill some holes and have some cable ties go through, because there's a hole in it anyway for the water seepage. It's already a little bit rusty. I could put paint on it, and then I've got, because I'm not going to get away with sticking them on that. It's not flat enough, and it's like a weird, I don't know how to describe it. It's like furry metal. Weird. That's going to make a new music genre. So yeah, I'm going to hold it up stick some things in there. I've already ran this one to see how much length of wire we're playing with. And all the rust under here. I will get under here one day I'll just spend a day with a wire wheel and paint and get off everything that we can. But not today. So drill some holes in there, get that guy on, move down the sides, and then go assess the front. Now that the lights themselves are all in place, I've shown you the back, the side and the front. The other side was just the exact copy. And trying to find a camera angle where I could get in and show you and do it was not easy, so I didn't want to do it a second time. I now need to follow all the wires back and just find something to attach them to. Everything running down the left hand side I'm just going to cable tie to other lines that are running down there anyway. They're probably straight lines and the lights, that will be fine, not really going to be a problem, done it before. I have found a slight problem which there will be a couple of different ways to solve. There is what I think is the best way, but that's the most work. There is a very, very not good way, long term anyway. So I don't think I'm going to do that one. And then there is a radical way, which the more I think about is becoming more appealing. I will share with you shortly what the problem is, what I'm going to do about it, because right now I've not really decided and it's pretty late and I need to be able to move the car up so I can get the other one back in here so they can go to bed. Now being up and down the car, tidying up all of the wires, making sure they're not going to touch anything that gets hot, I'm not going to drag on anything, apart from this guy. And this is the problem that we have. I didn't encounter this on the 986 because I don't have a light at the back, because there is nowhere to put it, because the engine is there and there's lots of exhaust there and lots of moving parts, so it just doesn't have them at the back. I wanted them at the back of this one. This is the 4-pin, very, very, very fine pin receptor for this guy, and this is the control box. These 4 little teeth and my finger for like a reference of size go into that. One I suspect powers each light, I would assume. I might be wrong, maybe all 4 do. And then the power for this goes in here, and that's going to be what connects to the battery. That's what I've been plugging into the transformer to test it. Now the issue is, because of the one all the way at the back, this only ends up, as you can see it coming out here, I've got not very much more to start going up into the engine bay. Now, easy thing for me to do, being not, an electrician, or even that good at some of this stuff, is the cable that goes in here is just 2 cores, a red and a black wire that make up the cable. They're going to go to each terminal on the battery. In the end, I'm going to put a switch in on the inside, and it will not. I can extend that as much as I want, and I could do a good job to make that waterproof. This bit will not be waterproof and will have to be under the car. Now I could make that waterproof. I could be really cheap and easy with it and use a bag and tape it up. I could cover it in tape. I could put it in a box or something like that. This is the infrared receptor for controlling it. I would like to maybe still be able to change the colours once in a while. And also, if I need to disconnect this, which I might do as the smartest thing when the side skirts come off when I wrap them, for example, I don't want to undo all that tape. So, I talked earlier about some options of what we can do. realistically, the best option is extend this guy, the smartest option. This, I've cut a spare one. Let me grab it. You're gonna hear me running over for it. Because I'm not daft, I thought, well, let's have a look. This one is off of the Bluetooth controller, and it's 4 wires in there. So, in essence, there's 4 wires that run through here. If I make this longer, this box can then end up in the engine bay or wherever I want it to be. And all I've got to do is make sure that this part, when they connect down there, obviously they don't connect, is sealed. And that's easy enough to do. That would be the best thing to do, but that's going to require welding, soldering, or connecting, extending 4 very fine wires made of your best, Chinese imitation copper or whatever they are. So it's not ideal because that's 8 different connections that I need to make sure are good and in the right place, of course. But it's the smartest option. That then gives me this to be controlled up in here. And then keeps this, I can keep that up in the engine bay. It's less likely to get wet. I've used the other one of these on a car for a long time. It was absolutely fine in that position. The interesting option is it does look like there's a panel in the floor of the car, right where that might want to be, which might allow me to just bring this inside the car itself, but then I'll have to go and pull up all of the carpet to do it. So, I think I'm going to do, this series I want to be doing the best you can with as little as you've got, even if you maybe don't have the skill, like have a go. So, I might be brave and cut this in the middle, try and find the thinnest wire that I have in that wire box, extend this to the point I can stick it up where I want. But I'm not going to do that tonight. So tomorrow I will come, cut this, extend these wires, and then finish the install. But for now, shall we see if it works? Yeah, I'll plug it in the right way, take it out, mess it around a bit, and then plug it back in the right way. We have lights, and they are colour controllable. I just don't know where I put the remote. So, yeah, next scene, I suppose, Steven Spielberg over here, will probably be me soldering and making wires. Oh. We are going with extending the wire. Fortunately, the big old box of wires, I found some relatively thin, these are like really rubbish speaker cables, but if I make the new wire too thick in there, there's a potential chance, I understand, that it might increase the amount of resistance that it needs to work against. So this is also the last one of these boxes I have, so I'm going to cut it in the middle to give me plenty to play with each end. These ones either were used for something or were going to be, so some of them have already got some spade connectors, so if I can find enough mating ones I'll use them. This one's a little bit thicker, but still one of the thinner wires I've got. And then I've got this white one I'm going to use that's in this loom. I'm not going to bother videoing me having to cut through all of this stuff to get this wire out. I'm going to free it up, and then I'm going to sit and patiently split that, add 4 wires, so 8 connections, and I really hope this works. Check in a minute. Rightio, after spending far too long making, you actually can't see it, well I didn't put it all in the time lapse, but I have made 4 extension wires, each with a clip, a spade connector each end, and now I have plugged it into the car, hopefully the right way around. What I'm about to do is the moment of truth. Is it going to work? If it doesn't work, I can go and swap the direction of that, because that will only work one way round even before I started mucking around, so there'll be that hope. I've not tested it yet. I've got everything set up. I just need to plug in the power down here. See what happens. If we get any lights under the car, my theory worked, and then I just need to bind all of these together so they become one cable. What do we reckon? Hey! Oh, that's wiggly. Alright, we can work with that. Oh, I'm so happy. That took so long. It was such miserable work. The only thing that was decent about any of that was the smell of the solder, which is probably poisonous. Right, I'm not going to necessarily film it. I'm going to tape all of these together. And I just need to, one idiot, I should have done slightly different colours. I need to identify those two grey ones so I know what each end will correspond to the other end. And I put heat shrinks on those, and that's probably the wrong thing to use. It'll be too late to put the other ones on. I'll work that out. It's working, so excellent. I can finish this install. I wasn't going to show you me wrapping this. You can see how much I've done, but I got weirdly excited about how much better I've got at this just as the job has sort of gone on. But look how efficient this has become. The first bit took me ages, and then working out I could do it like this, just with some dexterity. I feel like I'm like one of those people who would be really good in a factory if I was doing the same thing again and again, and I'd just get super efficient. So those guys who like make boxes in seconds. That's me, mate. Right, I'll finish it off. Now looking at bringing the wires from underneath into the car. The easy way and the wrong way to install these would be just link them up through the area underneath, like the engine, into the engine bay, onto the battery. What I don't want to do that for two reasons. Number one, that will not give me an on-off ability, and therefore they'll always be on. That will cause a drain. That's the two reasons. And I want to be able to control it from inside the car. So last night, right before I went in, I got curious about that plastic panel that seemed to be an access port underneath the car, right where the collection of wires, where all four wires seem to meet for the kit. And I just managed to pull the carpet out from there. Nothing too invasive, didn't need the seats out. And I thought, well, there's a little plastic cover here. So obviously, I drilled a hole in it. So I've pushed the connector up through here. You can see that. You see that is the lights there. I did push it through this rubber grommet, which I'm going to work into there just to provide a slightly better seal. And then I'm going to run the wire up to the internal fuse box. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to piggyback the power for something that would only be relevant to in here. Now I was going to use the cigarette lighter. I probably still am, even though that seems to have constant power, and I can test that by, it's in here somewhere. When I stuck a USB in here, the light came on. I won't know if I can do that with one hand. The key's not in the ignition at the moment. Oh, I hope I don't get electrocuted. Oh, it's not going to come on because I've pulled the fuse, but this was lighting up, so I knew it had power all the time. But that's fine, because I'm going to piggyback the power from over there using one of these. This is a piggyback circuit, and what it is it allows you to go in an existing fuse port, turns it to the side. That allows the connection for what was in there before to remain unbothered, and then you put another fuse in it for your new circuit, and that will just run power out from here. So all I really need to do is stick the red part of this in here, and it will have power, and then ground the black one to probably that metal bracket there. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to extend this bit all the way out to here, drill a little hole, put in a little switch, which I will change for a more exciting switch. I've got some very basic rocker switches, 2-position, tiny little guy here. Ooh. So we'll use this on, off, we'll drill a little hole, he will hold himself in there, we'll put the spade connector on, and that will just interrupt the circuit. It's very, very simple. So this is basically the continuation of that wire, but when it's on the circle, it will be broken, and when it's on the line, it will be, see you later, oh, really see you later, it will be connected, and that will give us on, off. That will mean it's not drawing any power when it's off. It shouldn't interrupt the cigarette lighter, but that's not a bother because I don't have one and it's not connected. And then I'm going to run, I'll have the control box over there probably with, I might even put it through into the glove box itself so I can then change the colours from there if I want to, and make the most of the fact there's no radio in here. I can really get my hands in there. So that wire coming through there will go up the back here. The wire that we made enormously long on this one, which doesn't look like it needed to be necessarily as long now, that's fine. That will all go up in here and we'll hide it all in there. Piggyback it off there, ground it there, switch here. So I just need to make a piece of wire to come to the switch and back to that from that. So a bit of wire, switch back to the red, and then we'll ground the black one there, and it will be nicely behind the glove box, and just work out the packaging. So I'm gonna go work out what's next. Forgive it still being a bit dark in here, I do have the light. Here's our little switch. The wires all run behind there. Can't see any of it, don't worry about that. Open the glove box, you can't see anything, but you can see the unit up there. The little detector, the infrared detector for the remote for changing colours, conveniently has just ended up there. And all the wires I've just up here, just cable tied to that vent so they're out the way of the glove box. So I'll put the carpet all back in a second. Flick it on. Underbodies. You can't see it as well because I've literally got the light hanging on the door to show you this. Flick it off. No underbodies. Great success. Now in a rare turn of events, I'm actually going to leave the garage and just show you the result at night. They're on random mode. So that is how to properly install underbody lights. I'd like to have done this with an ending clip with more of the lights and me standing there having a disco, but because it's a project car, The battery is obviously dead and therefore is now charging. If you enjoyed that, please consider subscribing. We're going to have a lot more videos on this car. Got a lot more work to do in the future, as in hopefully relatively near future. This idiot's going to be having his first go at actually wrapping a car, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to try and recruit some friends. I need to make some friends and see if I can get some extra hands. Actually, just need the hands. But if you enjoyed this, yeah, consider subscribing, give us a like, comment down below what colour you think the car should be. I've got some ideas, but I'm still not 100% inspired. And join us for the next video, and we'll hopefully by some point this year find out what this thing will actually look like. Thanks so much.